Welcome back to the Thinking Out Loud podcast. I'm your host, Coach Emery, aka Emery McMillan, and today I have with me a good friend of mine. I call him my big brother, but this is Montique Shelton. He's been in the financial industry for over 20 years, been in the credit repair industry specifically for about 15 years, helping people change their lives and change their way of thinking about money and their financial situation. So I'm gonna have Montique introduce himself, and then we're gonna jump in with a bunch of questions like always.
Okay, all right. Thanks for that introduction. Very kind of you. Um, yeah, I'm Montique Shelton. I've been in the I started out in the banking industry, working for HSBC Bank. I was there for about 17 years. I started out in the mail room. I started out delivering packages to the branches. Then I climbed my way up. At the end of my journey at HSBC, I was a branch manager. I was managing three branches at one time. So after I left HSBC, I got into financial consulting. I was doing some financial consulting, credit repair, and things like that for businesses and individuals. And then I got into the car industry. A friend of mine put me into the used car uh, dealership business. And I was there. I was running the dealership, pretty much doing everything, all of the credit, all of the financing, all of the selling. And he pretty much, would just buy the cars from the auction, and we had a pretty good partnership for a couple of years. Then right after that, I got into loan processing loans and being an underwriter for a personal loan company. And then from there, I got into the major car dealerships. I was working for a major Toyota dealership and a major Hyundai dealership here in Buffalo, New York, and I was a sales manager at both of those places, at a Hyundai dealership and a Toyota dealership. So in between then, I have my real estate license, my New York State real estate license. Before I've done, a lot of things finance related. I'm an entrepreneur, on multiple businesses. I've been into real estate. I used to own a bunch of real estate, which I'm about to get back into heavy. So that's pretty much that's pretty much a good description of my background.
That's a hefty description, man. You've done a lot of stuff. Um, so I want to jump into something that you said right off the muscle, right about HSBC. Now you said you started in the mail room. I know there's a lot of people who are working in jobs that feel like they're dead end jobs or there's no upward mobility in those positions.
Hmm.
What do you feel was different about your story that allowed you to move from the mail room to the branch manager position at HSBC?
Well, I was always a driven person. I was always self motivated, and I always wanted more out of life. So I didn't grow up with with money, or my parents didn't have any money. My family didn't have a lot of money and things like that. But I was just driven. I was just driven. So that pretty much was it. I just wanted more out of life. And I always wanted to progress and do what I can to get ahead.
Now, did you know that that was the road you wanted to take, that you wanted to end up a branch manager, or you just knew you wanted to continue to evolve within a role? Like, was it a
No,
target of yours?
no, it was actually an obstacle. Because when I started at HSBC, I was 18 years old and straight out of high school, and I didn't know what wanted to do in my life. It was actually my stepfather is the one that got me into HSBC, so to say, or got me the opportunity to get into HSBC. I had no idea where I was going in life. I just knew that I didn't want to go to college. Nothing against colleges, but I was just pretty much sick of school. I didn't like going to school. So I mean, I graduated, but I didn't like the idea of continuing to keep going back to school. And I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I knew me going to college wasn't going to teach me to be an entrepreneur, because it's something that you have to actually experience hands on. And I didn't want to get in debt, student loan debt and things like that. That's why I chose to go that route. But when I started at the bank, again, like I said, I started as a driver and in a mailroom. But when I elevated and tried to, what I say was an obstacle, when I tried to get into the branches, I was working at HSBC about 10 years at the time. I was there a total of 17 and a half years. But at
Yeah.
around year 10, that's when I got into the branches. And the thing that held me back, even though I've been working at this company for 10 years, they told me that I couldn't even work into the branch because I wanted to be a financial advisor. My goals and aspirations was to be a financial advisor. And they told me because I didn't have a college degree that I can't, work over there, like be a branch manager or an assistant manager or a financial advisor or anything like that.
Right.
So it was actually an obstacle. So I just, I pretty much didn't listen because I'm that type of person. If somebody told me that I can't do something, I'm gonna make sure that I do it. So it was an obstacle. So I went about a year trying to get into the branches, because that's what I wanted. And so long story short, I wound up getting into the branches without a college degree. Again, I never stepped foot in college. I never took any college courses or anything like that. Everything I've learned has been self-taught. I was just, again, I was just hungry, and I knew what I wanted.
Yeah.
So that's how
Now,
I got past that.
now, do you think that there is a difference between having like a target when you are in a corporate world versus being an entrepreneurship world? Do you feel like there's a different level of hustle, or do you think it's the same level of hustle no matter what platform you're on? Because I know a lot of people listening are, some are entrepreneurs, some are in the corporate world, some are in both. And so I just want to get your perspective on what you feel, where that hustle mindset comes in the most, whether it's an entrepreneur or corporate.
Well, it's kind of something that's in you already. And a lot of people, it just has to be waking up, or you awakened. You have to be awakened by something, and usually the something is not having money, or the lack of having money, or not being able to pay bills and things like that. So for me specifically, I'm a different type of individual, but for me specifically, I'm the type of person that even if I have a regular 9 to 5 job, I'm always going to be doing something entrepreneurial because I believe in multiple streams of income. I don't believe in just working at anywhere and just having one stream of income. Even as an entrepreneur, just having one stream of income as an entrepreneur is not good either. So I think everybody has it inside of them to uh to be able to be an entrepreneur or be entrepreneurial. And a lot of people have misconceptions thinking that I don't know anything about business. I don't know anything about real estate. I don't know anything about the stock market, but everybody has a talent. Everybody has a gift that they can tap into and sell. I guess the word is a side hustle, that they can actually do things to generate revenue. And you don't have to be a business owner to be in business.
Right.
Being in the stock market is owning a piece of companies. You could participate in the stock market with $5. So it's really no excuses. But
Yeah.
again, for a lot of people, it's scary. It's scary. I'm very confident, but for me, sometimes things get intimidating, and specifically when you're working for a job, it's very difficult for people because people feel like they can't do something, and that's so not the case. So that's why I'm doing the things that I'm doing now, so that I can be that voice for people to get them over the edge, to be able to take that
Yeah.
step to you know to discover themselves.
That's dope. That's dope. And thank you for sharing that with me. So I will jump into that now, like what you're into now, what you're doing now. So last 15 years you've been doing credit. Where did the interest in that come from? Where did that concept come from? I know a lot of people talk about credit now. Everybody's a credit guru now, but you've been doing this for a very long time. I know you personally, and I know you've been doing this since a couple years into me knowing you.
2005. Yeah.
Yeah, so we met right around 2000, 2001. So I know firsthand that you've been doing this for a very long time. So my
Mhm.
question to you is, what piqued your interest in this industry, and what was it that was missing in this industry that you felt you could change?
It was a necessity. What happened was around 2003. I discovered, I read a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad. Some people may have heard of that book before,
Yeah.
but that book like literally changed my life. It changed my perspective, and I was just fascinated by the information inside the book, and it just caused me to take action. So I just took action. So everything that I read, I applied, and I wanted to get into real estate, right? Because that was always something that I wanted to get into, real estate as an investor. And I had the opportunity to become a real estate investor, but my credit was horrible. So the person that wanted to get me into real estate, or that was trying to get me into real estate to set, to be able to, walk me down the right path to get started.
Yeah.
The very first thing it said is, how's your credit? You work at a bank. How's your credit?
Right.
And at that time, I wasn't in the branches. At that time, I was working at the HSBC Tower in downtown Buffalo.
Right.
So I was like, I don't know, because I never looked at my credit before. I never even knew anything about credit. So what I did was I used to go to like bookstores, when it was like a Barnes and Noble and a Borders bookstore, and I used to just sit in there in those bookstores and just be in the finance section, be in the credit section, be in the business section, the stock market section, and I would just
Yeah.
read. And I just taught myself how to repair my own credit. I got my credit right, and that's how I got introduced to real estate. And now, at that time, I had a great credit score. I bought tons of property, commercial
Right.
and residential, and that's how I taught myself. It was out of necessity.
That's what's up. I think that's dope. And I think it's good for people to hear because, again, a lot of your story is different than the people who may have been to those levels where, oh, I went to school, I had a degree, I went here, I did this thing, did that thing, spent tons of thousands of dollars only to find that that's not the industry I was passionate about and I wasted that money. So I'm glad that you were able to share that perspective. Also, what I want to ask you is, and first, kudos for doing it so long and being consistent and wanting to, learning it for yourself and then wanting to help other people. So the question I have for you now is, how are you evolving your brand of credit? So you've been doing credit for 15 years. Obviously, you've seen the game change so many times.
Mm-hmm.
What keeps you relevant and what keeps you still, even now, ahead of other people who may do this?
Well, the first thing is I never market my services for credit. All of my business from credit comes from referrals. It comes from referrals. I don't have to spend a penny on marketing. And a testimonial, I get testimonials, I get referrals. That's the best business to get right
Yeah.
there. And I always didn't take the credit business as serious, because I wanted to find a way to try to help people and not charge as much. Just like, well, my credit repair business, I have a different model than everybody else in the credit repair business. Like everybody in the
Right.
credit business charges like a fee. They charge like let's say $99 a month or $129 a month, and they charge you, right? And their goal is to keep you on their program. So they'll keep charging you that $99 a month. So they drag on doing your work because they want to continue to keep you as a client. So when I got into the business, and my motto has always been pay for results. So if I don't get something off your credit report, it's very simple. You don't pay me a dime, right? So that's always been my business model for credit repair. But I took it a step further now, because what I'm offering now is, for a limited time, free credit repair coaching, where I will coach people on how to repair your credit. I'll hold their hand, walk through with them, step by step, on exactly what steps they need to take to repair their credit themselves. And what I find fascinating about that is, instead of just helping someone, it's empowering someone,
Right.
right? So I can teach somebody how to repair credit, and they can go start their own credit repair business.
Right.
So it's like, empowering is different than just giving somebody something or doing something for someone. I get more satisfaction out of helping people than I do by making money off of people.
Right.
So I'm offering free credit repair right now for a limited time. And again, I'll walk the person through the whole entire process, and tell them the things that they need to do, and work with them.
Now that's interesting that you said that. That's super, super cool. And if you're listening and you need this service, you just heard it here. Free credit repair and coaching. So I want to go back to what you just said about helping people. I know that that's something that you're very, very big on, and empowering people. And so I want to say to you, like, this is really a matter of changing people's whole perspective on life, their whole outlook on everything. Like you said, you didn't realize you needed credit till, you know, you were almost 10 years into a job,
Mm-hmm.
you know, almost 30, or at 30 or older, didn't even realize how much credit impacted your life or would impact your future or could hold you back from certain things.
Mm-hmm.
So that empowerment that you felt, you wanted to share that with other people. And I just want to say kudos to you for that, because that's a big
Appreciate it.
deal. A lot of people don't look at the concept of, hey, you know what, I did this, let me give back. And not particularly in that way specifically, but just
Mm-hmm.
in whatever way possible. So definitely want to just acknowledge that. So the next
Appreciate
question
it.
I have for you is no problem,
Mhm.
absolutely. Next question I have for you is what obstacles have you faced along the way, aside from obviously you said you getting into the branch, but with working on credit and things like that, what obstacles have you faced along the way with being an entrepreneur?
Well, okay. So as far as credit it goes, the obstacle that I face still to this day is the reluctance from people to want to repair their credit. Most people don't understand and realize how important credit is until they actually need something. So they actually need a home that they're trying to get for the first time, or what have you, or to refinance their mortgage, or to get a home equity line of credit, or to purchase a vehicle, to get a business loan, to get a personal loan, to get a credit card, to get lower interest on things, to have lower rates on your auto insurance, to be able to get an apartment, to rent an apartment. There's so many things that credit plays a part in your life, and a lot of people are overpaying because they don't care about their credit.
Right.
So the obstacles that I face in this something that I'm trying to break down, the barriers, is to educate and inform people on why is it important to be able to be on top of your credit, to have great credit, to be on point. Because credit is a very tricky thing, because a lot of people that don't care about their credit or don't pay attention to their credit, those are the people that become victims of identity theft. When you don't pay attention to your credit, let's say you go years, like you're in your 20s and your 30s, and you really don't care, and then all of a sudden you decide to grow up in your 40s, and now you want a house, and you don't want the finer things in life. You want a nice vehicle and things like that.
Right.
That's when people start repairing their credit and trying to fix everything, and then some people go to discover that someone else been using their name, and identity theft is the biggest financial crime in America. So all of those people that don't engage in their credit, or don't take part in their own credit report, and knowing what's on their credit report and things like that, they're going to suffer when it's time for them to actually want something. So that's been a big barrier, is the reluctance of people to be able to intake the information, and don't just treat credit when you need something. It's a part of life. It's a part of life. So that's one of the things that I face as far as being an entrepreneur. It's I'm always going to have multiple streams of income. I'm always going to have multiple ways to make money. So I never put myself in a box to only have one stream of income.
Right.
So, it's really not challenging being an entrepreneur for me. Um, there are challenges in specific businesses that I operate. But as an entrepreneur in general, as long as you got multiple streams of income, you protect yourself from anything catastrophic that can happen to you. Or going broke, or not having, or not being able to do something. When you
Right.
have multiple streams of income.
Gotcha. So I'll say, going back to what you were first said, one of the obstacles you had was credit. When you
Mhm.
first were getting into the real estate industry. So I'm glad that that was an obstacle for you at that time, so that you turned into this beast of a person who wanted to spread this energy and help people and just create this wealth generated mindset in other
Mhm.
people and in yourself. So definitely excited about that. So fast forward to 2021, you currently have a podcast called Money Power Invest.
Yes. Yes.
That Can you tell me a little bit about that podcast?
Yeah. The Money Power and Invest show is a show that I created years ago. I created the concept years ago, but I was just waiting for the right time to do it. Uh, I hooked up with a co-host, my co-host, uh, Terrence Du Bois, and he's a financial advisor. He has a more traditional background in finance. He went to college.
Yeah.
He is a financial advisor. Is an insurance agent.
Yeah.
So he's more polished when it comes to the licensing and things that you need to legally be able to sell insurance products and investment products and things like that. So me and him have been friends for a very long time. We met each other at HSBC Bank years and years ago,
Yeah.
and I think with him on there, because at first the show was just going to be about me, or just me, and I was going to be just talking about finances and things like that. But I hooked up with Terrence, and we shot a couple episodes already. It'll be coming soon, but the show is based on real estate. We're gonna be talking about real estate. We're gonna be talking about business. We're gonna be talking about finances, credit, 401ks, life insurance, wills, estates, uh, pretty much anything to do in the financial realm. We're gonna be touching base on the show. So we're gonna also have guests on there. The guests that we're gonna have on there are like athletes. We're gonna have athletes on there. We're gonna have entertainers. We're gonna have entrepreneurs. We're gonna have professionals like real estate agents and mortgage brokers and lawyers, CPAs, all of those different type of professionals, so that people could get a good insight, and so people could
Right.
become comfortable with the subject of finances.
Yeah.
So that's what the goal of the show is. That's what I created it for. So was to get the conversation started, so that the culture can start to have these discussions, and make sure that it's cool to talk about money and finances, and it's not cliche or something that you don't talk about, because the less you talk about something, the less you'll get of it.
Yeah.
The more you talk about something and focus on it, the more you get of it. So
Right.
that's what the purpose of the show is.
Well, that's cool. I like that. I like that idea. I like the concept, and I think that it's really gonna be dope because a lot of people who follow you already know that they know you talking about money in your sleep. But
Hmm.
I think that it's amazing to bring that to a platform where people can feel the energy and be able to join. It's just like to be a part of it. It makes it more of a common thing to talk about, and like you said, it makes it a normal part of. It's like the energy is just it's
Yeah.
great, but when you bring something that's something you're passionate about, and you're talking about finance, but even though it's money, it's such a taboo topic in our community.
Yep.
Sometimes you bring it to, all right, this is what we're doing. Oh, that's not that bad to talk about. Oh, it's a lot easier to talk about. And I think that when you do that as the show grows, that's gonna change so many people's lives. So I'm definitely glad you're doing that. I'm excited to be available to check it out whenever whenever you release it. I know it's about a week or so out. I know you said, but
Yep.
by the time this launches, it should be already able to go check it out. So Money Power Invest, go check it out on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, everywhere. You should be able to
Yep.
get that
Yep.
wherever you listen to your podcast at.
Yep.
So the next question I have for you is really like, what is your target client? If someone wanted to work with you for credit repair or had questions about credit repair, how can people check you out, and what is your target client for credit?
Well, when you say clients, credit repair is not the only thing that I do. That's just something that I'm probably the most passionate about.
Hmm.
But I have multiple services. I do personal financial coaching for individuals, to help turn their financial lives around. Where I'll take someone whole financial picture, and I'll walk them through, coach them on how to do a number of things: how to make more money, how to save more money, and how to start to grow your investments and things like that, for so that when you get to retirement age and things like that, your legacy will be intact. And I also teach in that, and coach within that, on the right now as well, because a lot of things with finances, and a lot of reason why people don't engage in finances, is because everything is always taught years from now. So you're in your 20s, 30s, or 40s, and everything is prepared for your 60s and 70s and 80s. And I show people how to live now and in the future as well, or be prepared in the future as well. So that's the personal financial coaching service that I have. I also do business management for startup businesses and for existing businesses, where I go in and help them. And the key thing I do with my business management clients is to build their business credit profile, which is very key,
Yeah.
in having a successful business, because a lot of people don't have money. Even existing business don't have money, to be able to fund their ideas. So I can show people how to build business credit, through my business management service, and also to get their business going. From marketing and advertising, and all of the back end stuff. So I also do that as well. So it's not just credit repair. It's also that personal financial coaching and business management
So you
services
do
that
a
I have.
lot. You do a lot of things with businesses and people in there, and just basically helping people become most well-rounded that they can. When it comes to entrepreneur credit and finances. So I love that. That's super dope.
Thank you.
Now, I'm obviously I know a little bit more than the average person would, but I know that you have a dope team of people that help you
Mhm.
out with this. So
Absolutely.
the next question was gonna be, if I didn't know you, how do you do it all? But I know the answer is that you have
Hmm.
a strong team of people.
Hmm.
So, but that's super cool. That's super, super dope. The next question I have for you is, how can someone contact you if they have questions? What's a way that they can reach you or reach out to you? Where do you put most of your content at?
Well, most people can reach out to me on Facebook at my on my Facebook page, Montique Shelton on Facebook, Montique Shelton, Shelton, and on Instagram at Montique Shelton on Instagram. So you can definitely hit me up there if you want to get free the credited service that I'm offering. You can hit me up on either one of those platforms. If you just want business advice, if you have questions about finances, period, you can also do that. And I started this thing that I'm going to do now. I just did my first one recently, but I'm doing these Facebook lives. Also, where I'll do Facebook lives and I'll just have people engage. And the purpose of doing the Facebook lives is to have everybody come together and ask the questions so that I answer the questions live on air. And because what I found out is when someone has a question about something, it's usually 100 or 1,000 people with that exact same question, so that on that platform I can answer all of the questions that someone may have. And we talk about everything. We talk about finances, real estate, stocks, credit, 401ks, whatever.
Yeah.
And what I also like about that platform is it's so authentic because it's not pre-recorded and I'm answering the question live. So it gives the person that doesn't know me, like like the team of people and all the people that I know, but the people that don't know me, it gives them an opportunity to see, hey, this guy knows what he's talking about. This
Right.
guy knows his stuff. So that's another reason why I like doing it on a live platform. So I'll be doing Facebook lives. I don't know if it's gonna be like once a week or even 2 or 3 times a week. I haven't decided on the frequency. But I do love doing the first one that I did. So I do like doing it. And
Yeah.
so that's something I'm definitely going to continue to do because it benefits our culture and it benefits the community. So that's why what I like about it.
That's cool. I'm glad you definitely did that and dived into that, and I'm glad that people can get those questions answered from a perspective of the client.
Hmm.
They get to have their question answered live, and from the perspective of just time efficiency, you get to answer that question for multiple people. They can go
Hmm.
back and get that information, and that helps you not have to say the same thing a million times over and
Yep.
over again. So
Hmm.
that's super, super cool. So I have one last question for you. What is
Sure.
one piece of information that you would give to somebody, not particularly financial, but it doesn't necessarily not have to be, to somebody who's looking to change the direction of their life? They've been working 9 to 5 their whole lives, and they're tired of it. They always know they've been called to do something else, but they just haven't had the guts to go after it. And now it's just eating at them too much. They can't, get rid of it when they can't shake the idea they need to be building something else. What's one piece of advice you would give to that person?
Wow. You know me, and I rarely have one thing to say, but a couple. Let me give a couple pieces of advice.
Okay.
The first thing I would definitely say is you got to believe in yourself. A lot of people have this perception to the outside world that they're stronger than what they really are, but deep down inside, they're not weak, but they're a little scared to step out on a limb and do something different. So I want to tell people to just definitely believe in yourself. Stop listening to other people. Stop caring about what other people think about you. That's another thing. Don't try to fit in with what everybody else is doing. Don't try to fit in. Be yourself. And the last thing is to think outside of yourself. You want to think about leaving a legacy behind because none of us are going to be here forever. And we all have something deep inside that we should be doing with our life. So you got to discover your passion and dig deep inside, discover your passion and just do it. You only live once and nobody knows when they're going to die. So a lot of us walk around like we got all this time or whatever, but in reality, nobody knows when they're going to die. So you want to you want to get to putting in work to go ahead and reach for the stars and aspire and to go after your goals and things like that, and stop being complacent and living in check to check, being check to check, not having enough money, and all of those things combined, you definitely would have progress. And if anyone needs help or anything like that, or have any questions for me, again, you can reach out to me on Facebook at, again, Montique Shelton on Facebook, or at Montique Shelton on Instagram. And I definitely help you out. I have no problem helping people, as you know. I sometimes that's my problem. I try to help too many people, but if anyone's struggling with, trying to get their dreams or goals going, I definitely got a couple words for you.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I'm definitely glad you were able to share that with me today, man. I do want to thank you so much for being here, taking the time just to, share this information and just be of service to the people. Kudos to you for just doing that and giving back, always wanting to see people evolve and be better. So thank you again for stopping by to the Thinking Out Loud podcast.
Mm.
As always, brother, you're appreciated. And now,
Thank you.
any last words to anybody that's listening?
Well, again, just take that advice that I just said to heart, and and just dare to be different. Just dare to be different, and dare to change your life in a positive way, So, but I definitely appreciate you having me on your show, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. And everybody listening, as always, be dope and be great. Peace.